Hey there, I'm Lauren, this is Corpse Free Kitchen, and today we're talking about just some meal prep tips because I cook all the time, I meal prep a lot, I figured I have some helpful tips. If you're new here, first of all, hi. I am from Alabama. I lived in Alabama for a long time and I went vegan in Alabama. And most of the state has no idea what a vegan eats. Honestly, a lot of them probably don't even know what it means to be vegan or what that is. That being said, I had very few food options to eat other than cooking whenever I first went vegan. I really had to up my game when it came to cooking, and I really had to learn how to make it work if I wanted to survive. And these are 5 things that I learned that made that process a lot more efficient. One of the most important, yet kind of the most overlooked thing, I know it kind of sounds obvious, but plan it out. First of all, have a Pinterest account. I promise you, just have a Pinterest account. It's gonna make this whole thing a lot easier. Go to Pinterest and type in easy vegan meal prep or meal prep plans vegan or something along those lines. You can also ask ChatGPT for a meal plan like I did in my pantry video. I literally just said, these are the macros that I want. If you don't know what macros are, they are carbs, fats, and proteins. So basically the building blocks of food, if you will, and they are what we need to survive. You can just say, hey AI, I want a high protein meal plan for X amount of calories, however much you need in a day. Asking ChatGPT completely eliminates the need to search for anything on Pinterest or anything online in general, but it also might not give you things that you like a whole lot. Mine recommended to me a couple of things that you'll see in actually the other video I'm posting today. I'll link it. I didn't love what it recommended, so I changed it up a little bit, which you can do as well. So just know that it might not recommend the best things, but it will recommend something that is along the lines of what you're looking for most of the time. As vegans, it's really important that we're diligent about getting enough protein. It's not exactly hard to get enough protein, but it is important, and it is a little bit more complicated if you don't know how. Honestly though, I'm not about to tell you how much protein you need because there would be an uproar in the comments because nobody agrees with each other. But I will say the book, The Plant-Based Athlete, which I highly recommend by the way, they recommend several different macro ratios. Once you know how much protein you need, you can kind of incorporate that number into your search whenever you're figuring out what you want to eat. So for example, I try to get at least 25 grams of protein per meal. If I really want to be specific, then I'll just search, breakfast with 25 grams of protein vegan or something like that. Or you can search vegan meal plan, 100 grams of protein per day, same concept. And next thing, this is really, really important, and this is something that I overlooked for a really long time and I still kind of struggle with. Write down what you research. When you're searching for a question, write the answer down. Or when you're searching for a meal plan, write down some of the things that it recommends. It makes the process so much easier, and then you don't have to research the same thing over and over again in the future. Taking a moment to figure this stuff out is going to save you so much time in the future. Side note, this is not sponsored, but new flavor drop. So now that you have your recipes saved to your Pinterest board or in your notes app or wherever you decide to keep them, you're gonna go through each of the recipes and you're gonna look out the ingredients that you don't have. So for example, if you have an insane spice rack like I have, I usually don't have to buy any spices for recipes because I've made such a wide array of things that I have an insane amount of spices. Usually when I'm making something with, let's say, zucchini, I don't have zucchini on hand because it goes bad too fast. So that is something that I have to go get. And be specific about how much you need, because if a recipe calls for 2 zucchini and you only get 1, or if it calls for 4 and you get 2, you're gonna need enough and you're gonna need to know how many you need. So whenever you're writing down what you need, just write down how many you need, or half of an onion or something like that. Obviously you can't just buy onion halves, at least not to my knowledge, but it'll help. And before you know it, when you write down all of the things that you need, you have a grocery list. And it makes that process so much easier. Add a couple of snackable things like fruits and veggies or hummus or bagels or whatever, and then you have a full grocery list. If you're short on time, schedule a grocery pickup. Pro tip, if you can help it and if you have the time, I don't recommend grocery shopping and meal prepping in the same day because both are very exhausting tasks to do, especially if you're like me and you struggle with executive function and the grocery stores give you anxiety and it's just, you kind of are scramble brained like me. I highly recommend not doing these things in the same day. So think about it. Whenever you go to the grocery store, what do you want to do when you get home? sit down and probably eat pizza or something that is not what you have to cook. Think about that and just schedule it separately. Which kind of leads into my next tip. Give yourself ample time, both ample time to cook and ample time to shop. Block out a few hours once a week, every single week, to make sure you can get this done. I have a really bad problem with time blindness, and I know that I'm not the only one, which is why I bring it up. Sometimes I'm like, I can meal prep my breakfast in an hour before I have to go into work, and then I can't. Shocker. So just give yourself enough time. And for example, if you do all of your meal prep on Sunday, schedule your groceries to be picked up on Saturday night or Saturday morning or something like that. That way you have some of this stuff done early, and then you don't have to try to squeeze it all in at one time, and you can actually enjoy your Sunday and relax a little bit. So like if you don't normally wake up at 5 a.m. and run a bunch of errands, I don't recommend you trying to do that on the one day that you decide to meal prep. The third tip is use varying cooking methods to make the process go a little bit faster. For example, when I like to meal prep, sometimes I will chop a bunch of veggies and throw them on a cookie sheet and stick them in the oven, let them be cooking. Meanwhile, I have some tofu in the air fryer or something, and then I have a pot of soup going on the skillet. Vary your cooking methods so that way you can do more at one time, and it is so helpful. Saves a lot of time, and it saves a lot of energy as well. You also won't have to worry about running out of room on anything. If you use varying cooking methods, you can just vary the cooking methods. You don't have to try to squeeze 8 pots on the stove. The next tip is for one of the meals that you make, I highly recommend making a lot of servings for one of the meals, especially like soups or something like that. Whenever you're portioning everything out, put a couple in some freezer-friendly containers. That way you can just pop it in the freezer, and then let's say next week, whenever you do your grocery shopping and you really don't want to cook everything when you get home, what do you know? You can take something out of the freezer and you can eat it for dinner. And then you stick to your meal plan, you don't have to have pizza, and it's just a win-win for everybody. Real talk though, we're busy, we're short on time. Sometimes we don't have meals prepped when we intend to. Having some stuff in the freezer available to just kind of grab and go is gonna be really helpful for that. As an added bonus, it'll save you money because then you don't have to order takeout to be able to eat something. My last big tip, which took me far too long to learn, incorporate meals that you love into your meal prep, or incorporate ingredients that you love into your meal prep, especially if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to stick to a meal plan because you have like certain goals with your body or with your diet or something like that. It's really hard to stick to a meal plan if you don't have something. At least for me. I know that not everybody is like this, but if you are anything like me, I love food. I love eating, and if I don't have anything that I can look forward to, and if I don't have a meal that I'm excited about, I'm not gonna wanna eat any of it. I'm just gonna crave those high dopamine foods, and I'm just not gonna eat this stuff. I'm just like, oh, well, I guess that's more for the freezer, and then I'll stick them in there and then eat what I don't need to eat. So yeah, I just recommend making a few things that you really love. And if there are some ingredients that you can't trust yourself with, for example, like peanut butter is a big one, find a way to incorporate it into your meal prep. I make this peanut sauce pasta salad that is so good. I love peanut flavor. I crave it almost every single day. I can make this pasta salad and stay within my macro goals and not have to worry about like overeating peanut butter or binging out on, a huge bagel with peanut butter or an apple with peanut butter and using like this much of it. That's kind of a joke, but I have caught myself doing that a couple times. I'm like, oh God, Lauren. Another reason to find something that's really fun that you can eat is just for variation. Sometimes food's boring. It's just boring sometimes. If you like to be excited by food, then it's hard to eat the stuff that's boring all the time. For example, one of the ways that I like to do this is with cowboy caviar. I've talked about it in a few videos at this point. I will be on the cowboy caviar hill till I die. One thing I love about it is that I can A, make it in so many different ways, and B, I can eat it in so many different ways. You can use it as a topping for salads. You can use it in pasta, burritos, and tacos, and as a side. I'm getting so excited, I'm kind of drooling a little bit. There are a lot of things that you can do this similar concept with that's not just cowboy caviar, but I'm just using it as an example. Another thing you could do would be like use taco meat. Like you can do all kinds of stuff with taco meat and whatever, but cowboy caviar is more fun, and it's kind of fun to say. I just make a huge bowl of it and then I eat it many different ways throughout the week. Cowboy caviar is a very protein and carb heavy meal. So I always know that I'm hitting my macros whenever I'm eating it. Another tip that I kind of thought about after I wrote this script and had the idea to do like 5 meal prep tips, so this is just a bonus. Make sauces. Either figure out how to make some sauces or look some up. Simnett Nutrition, he has tons of sauce recipes. I've tried multiple of them and they're all so good, and they're all really healthy and really good for you. So look up some sauce recipes, keep a jar of it, and then just sprinkle it on a bunch of stuff. That way you can add more variation to your meals. Or if you want to do like buffet style meal prep, which I do want to experiment with, so stay tuned for that. Have a few different sauces and then just like put a bunch of stuff together, put some sauce on it, and it's different every time you eat. You can make sauces sweeter, you can make them tangy, you can make them like smoky or whatever, however you want to do some sauces. One of my favorite sauces that I've ever made actually was in the fish tacos video, so I will link that. You can go watch it, and I am gonna go lay in the sun because the sun's shining. It's September now and it's not miserable outside. Well, it's kind of miserable today. It's in the high 80s. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. You go get some sunshine as well. All of the videos that I talked about in this video will be linked in the description and somewhere on the screen probably right now. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks, bye.